become state champions a week later. This year, more than a game is on the line as Carmel coach Jim Belden prepares for retirement. His Greyhounds try sending him out a champion. Will Penn get a chance to defend his title? Or will Carmel take sweet revenge? Find out next as the NDTV Game of the Week makes another stop on the road to the Dome.
NDTV and the Indiana High School Athletic Association present the High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight's game is brought to you by your local Indiana dairy farmer. Winners drink milk. By your Central Indiana Ford dealer. Your Indiana Ford dealers, the one. By Community Hospitals of Indianapolis. Patient-focused medicine. And by Anthem. Get well, be well, stay well.
Live from Hamilton County, it's state tournament action. Two of the richest traditions in high school football collide tonight as the Penn Kingsmen visit the Carmel Greyhounds. Good evening and welcome to the NDTV Game of the Week. I'm Vince Welch. It began a month ago with 308 high school football teams and the dream of making it to the IHSAA Dome. Well, here tonight, the dream will become reality for one of these two football clubs. Joined, as always, by former Indianapolis Colts tight end Charles Arbuckle. And Charles, from the coaches, Chris Giesman and Jim Belden, right on down the rosters, these are two programs that are very familiar with one another.
These two gentlemen have a long history, Vince. Both of them went to college together at Butler, right up the street. They both went fraternities together, and they both played last year, so these teams know a lot about each other.
Great football programs never really seem to have down years, and that's a great example of these two teams this season. They were both hit hard by graduation from a year ago, but there's no real void. Excellent players on the field tonight.
They basically restock and retool. What we're going to see for Penn, a guy by the name of Nick Bayline, first two-way starter at Penn in 24 years. That says a lot about a kid because normally they don't have to play both ways at Penn.
And for the Carmel Greyhounds?
For the Carmel Greyhounds, Shannon Paulk has run for over 1,000 yards and has scored 20 touchdowns this year. They like to see him run. He's a Greyhound for sure.
Once you reach this level, there are rarely any blowouts, but the smallest detail can make the biggest difference. So what's going to be the key tonight for these clubs?
Well, for Penn, they're going to have to neutralize Carmel's size. To give you an illustration, Penn's D-line is only 209 pounds on the average. Carmel's O-line is 271 pounds. That's the matchup we have to look at tonight.
And for Carmel?
Carmel has to continue a balanced attack. They have to run 60% of the time and pass 40%. If they do that, they feel they can win this game tonight.
High school football state tournament, semi-state action coming your way next. It's Penn versus Carmel on the NDTV Game of the Week.
What am I doing? Am I too old for this? Can my body take this?
At Anthem, we know that if we can help with the questions, the answers will become clear.
What will this do to our love life?
That's why we developed our maternity care program to help deliver your answers as well as a healthy baby.
Will my baby be okay?
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Get well, be well, stay well.
You need a truck? It's time to get serious, because your Ford dealer's firing up Ford Truck Month. Don't waste your time with a bunch of scrap metal. Get incredible deals on America's best-selling trucks. Lease a Ranger, America's best-selling compact truck, for just $129 a month. Check out Explorer, America's best-selling sport utility, or get $1,000 cash back on the popular Ford Windstar. So cut through the clutter and lease a new Ranger for just $129 a month during Ford Truck Month. Your Indiana Ford dealer's the one to see right now.
Cookies. Say, you know, I think our neighbor might like one too.
Huh? Well,
Here you go.
thank you.
A trip to the IHSAA Dome to play for the state championship is on the line. The Penn Kingsmen and the Carmel Greyhounds getting ready to kick it off in Class 5A semi-state championship action. Let's go downstairs. Ron Sexton. Ron?
As expected, we knew emotion would really involve a lot of the pregame talk tonight. Penn coach Chris Giesman has told his football team not to worry about matching the emotional levels of the Carmel Greyhounds. He wants his Kingsmen to remain on the same even keel they've experienced all year. On the other side, Jim Belden has told his football team 48 minutes to play and a lifetime to remember it. And if you think about it, for the first time in his career, his words also apply to himself.
That's exactly right. Jim Belden announced on November 4th that he would hang up the clipboard at the end of this high school football season, and Belden announcing his retirement opened up the possibility of a number of coaches coming in here to take over the Carmel football program, but his Greyhounds want to send him out a state champion, and they're going to have an opportunity to at least reach the RCA Dome with this ball game tonight. The Carmel Greyhounds won the toss but deferred, so the Penn Kingsmen will have the football first, and Charles, maybe a little mental game there with Carmel putting its defense on the field to open up the game.
Well, whenever you're at home, you want to feel like you can control. This is your turf. So if somebody gets the ball, Penn getting the ball against Carmel, they feel like they will make a statement if they come out and stop Penn's offense, who they feel they can beat tonight because they have a definite size advantage. But I think they just feel that Penn does not play the quality of teams that they play down here in this area, in the Marion County area.
Getting a good look at Penn coach Chris Giesman, two-time state champion. Of course, the Penn Kingsmen were state champs just a year ago, and Chris's son Matt was the quarterback of that team, now college quarterback at Hillsdale. Of course, the Penn Kingsmen had their 89-game winning streak of the regular season, broken earlier this year by the Ben Davis Giants. On the other sideline, Giesman's longtime friend, Jim Belden, in his 7th season as head coach of the Carmel Greyhounds. 3 perfect regular seasons and, of course, 4 state championships. You talk about wins, how about this number? Jim Belden, the 3rd all-time winningest active coach, and Chris Giesman, number 6 on the list. These guys know how to coach football, and their teams know how to play it. We're going to see the best of it tonight. Ricky Suri deep for the Penn Kingsmen, and to kick off for the Carmel Greyhounds, Dave Miller. Dan Baker will kick for Carmel. Line drive kick taken at the 10 by Suri. Still on his feet, but he's going to be brought down. There defensively for the Carmel Greyhounds on special teams, Mike Wegner. And the Penn offensive group will line up in this manner with the guys up front. Bevis the center with Martinic and Hurst the guards. Thornton and Cunningham the tackles. The skilled positions, Bayline will call his name out a lot tonight. The running backs Hardy and Becker, balanced attack with Linsky, Gaidos, and Flanagan as the potential receivers. Good look at Bayline, the best athlete on the team according to Coach Giesman. He plays both ways, the first player to do so at Penn in 24 years. A handoff up the middle to Chuck Hardy to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Maybe picked up a yard at the most. Defensively for the Carmel Greyhounds, it's a good group with Munoz and Wright. Hammer, what a great name for a defensive player. Wegner and Brown on the ends, 2 quick, strong defensive ends. And the linebackers, Kohler and Hedegaard. And the defensive secondary, Morris, Olson, Hoagland, and Whitlock. 2nd down and 9 for Penn. First possession of the game. Flanagan in motion. Bayline looking to throw the football. He's got a man open downfield, and it's caught. Big gain for the Penn Kingsmen on the receiving end, Bill Seymour. Bayline put it right on the money.
This is a great play-action pass. You're going to see Seymour get deep. The play fake, the crossing in the backfield confuses Carmel. The secondary is back, but Seymour outflanks them on a corner route. They get back deep. Great catch and throw. That's the type of play you want to prevent when you kick the ball off early in the game.
35-yard gain, and Penn comes out throwing the football, and the Kingsmen were a team that would throw it when they had to, but certainly didn't live through the air. But excellent numbers from Bayline on the year. 13 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions. Into Carmel territory, the ball marked at the 35. Becker, his first carry with some running room. across the 30 down near the 25-yard line of Carmel, and the Penn Kingsmen, that small offensive line, or undersized as Coach Giesman calls them, are doing a good job so far.
Well, he's going to see 78 Cunningham pulling out in front. It's a misdirection play, a counter play, I'm sorry, and Becker does a good job of just getting it up in there, making some yardage, running over people actually. Once Penn seems like they have the intensity right now. They are a little bit playing with more intensity. The level is much higher. They feel like they have nothing to lose tonight.
Becker averaged over 5.5 yards per carry. He gained 9 on that play. It's 2nd and 1 for Penn. Marching already into Carmel territory. Becker has it again. First down and inside. Inside the 20 to the 19.
The thing about Becker I already see that I like is that he gets behind his lineman. He's very patient. He lets them make the block, and then he goes and follows them. Here you're going to see on the replay. Watch this. Watch how he gets behind his lineman. He puts his hand there to feel his way through, and even still, he's just running up their back. If they don't get out the way, he says, I'm going to run over you tonight.
Nathan Hurst gave him a good block. Becker, an interesting story. 2-year starter, but he missed this game. The semi-state matchup a year ago. He broke his ankle in the regional championship against Portage, so this one is extra special to Becker. Up the middle. Inside the 15, down to the Carmel 12. Penn's offensive front explosive early on.
Well, you can hear them up here, Vince. They're just coming off the ball. They are not wasting time. They're running the ball in the area where they have to right up the gut. They feel like if they can match that, you'll see them later probably bounce outside, but Becker's doing an excellent job of running in between the tackles. We talked about the size, this differential on offense and defense for these teams is not that big. But for Carmel's offensive line as opposed to Penn's defensive line, there's a much bigger disparity.
Becker on the pitch. He's got some room. To the 7-yard line of Carmel. Penn has done it outside. They've done it inside and even up top.
Well, that's the first play right there that they run outside. But what you see is the whole team pulling. Even the quarterback, Bayline, you're going to see him make the pitch. He's going to have linemen out in front. Cunningham, he has 34 Hardy. I mean, guys are just pulling. Everybody's blocking for this guy Becker tonight.
You don't see too many quarterbacks leading the blocking brigade on a pitch.
When you play cornerback, you want to get into the action a little bit.
Bayline's not afraid to hit anyone, even if he is only 5'10", 169 pounds. First and goal for Penn. Same play, but this time the running room is not there. Defensively, Joe Kohler for the Carmel Greyhounds. 6'4", 225-pound junior.
That's the thing that we haven't seen from Carmel's defense early on. We haven't seen that penetration. Here you're going to see the line pulling the same blocking scheme, the same play as before, but you see Kohler come up and make the play. He's unblocked because they have 2 guys on one instead of picking him up. Somebody did not pick up on their assignment on that play.
Second down and goal from the 9. Bayline looking to throw. Under some pressure. Gets rid of the football. Touchdown. The Penn Kingsman, Ricky Surrey, touchdown. His 9th touchdown reception of the season, and Bayline held it to the last possible moment before he threw the pass, and Surrey was open.
The Bayline does a good job here of just keep running. He has pressure and does an excellent job of throwing the ball. It wasn't the prettiest of passes, but it was where the receiver needed his series to make the touchdown.
Really being pressured from the pass rush, but Bayline held on to the last moment, waited for his receiver to get open. And now for Penn, Dave Miller will come on for the PAT. Mark Noack will hold. Snap is good, and so is the place and kick. The Kingsmen of Penn have struck first, leading Carmel in the semi-state championship.
Okay, class. A woman has 6 minutes to get to the bank 4 miles away. How fast does she have to drive?
62 miles an hour.
No, Tommy. You.
She doesn't have to drive. She can phone her banking in.
Very funny, young man. She can't do that.
With NBD's 24-hour banking by phone, she can pay bills, transfer funds, check on balances, anywhere, anytime.
She can do that?
Yes, Miss Dunce. NBD. We can do that.
He's awfully big. It must have been held back.
When you need a doctor, you can always go to the phone book, or you can do what we recommend. Ask a friend. That's where more of our patients are coming from. We're the St. Vincent Primary Care Network. We continue to grow because of recommendations from families and friends. How can you choose a member of the St. Vincent Primary Care Network? Call 1-800-633-7378 for a copy of our physician directory. It's a good friend in your search for a great doctor.
I come here for everything.
Their produce is excellent.
Fresh strawberries, lots of oriental foods, 10,000 different kinds of frozen pizza.
Lemonade, Maya, lemonade.
This week, get the 12-count package of Meyer Brown and Serve rolls, just 59 cents. And get all varieties of sweet soup broth, only 25 cents each.
I'm a believer in Meyer.
Penn strikes first, and Bayline held onto the ball. Look at the good pressure he gets from behind from Mike Wagner, and then right in his face from Billy Brown.
Yeah, they both put excellent pressure on him, but he does an excellent job of holding on to the last minute and finding the receiver Siri. No one even around Siri. The four guys come over, but it's way too late.
So Penn put 7 on the board on the first offensive possession. And the big play was a long pass downfield to Bill Seymour. Into Kingsman and Greyhounds territory immediately. From the goal line, Shannon Polk across the 30 to the 32-yard line. The Carmel offensive unit, Adam Butt will anchor the line at center with Kaminsky and Stewart at guards. Matt Woods and Brent Senquist are the tackles. Travis Meek, the quarterback. Aaron Keening at one tight end spot. John Cira and Josh Trissler, the receivers, with Jeff Whaling and Shannon Polk, the running backs. Travis Meek connected on 55% of his passes this season, over 1,400 yards. First offensive possession for the Greyhounds, already trailing 7-0. Polk with very little running room. Sean Watterson on the tackle for Penn. Watterson at one of the ends. Bill Seymour made that big pass reception at the other with Bo Sands and Mike McBride up the middle. The 4 linebackers, Chris Williams, Jake Kovach, Haropoulos, and Dillman, with Bayline, Sabo, and Siri in the secondary. Second down and 8. Polk again. Has some running room into the secondary. Across the 45 to the 47-yard line.
I like that run, Ben. That was a very nice run. You're going to see Polk get the ball behind a big hole, nice blocking, but there you go with the nice move, making guys miss. Jason Sabo is up from the secondary spot, but Polk does a good job of making him miss, picking up the first down and being game tackled.
12-yard gain for Shannon Polk. He picked up 6 or 7 before a defender even laid a hand on him. You see if this Carmel offensive front, which as Charles mentioned earlier in the open, averages 270 pounds, really can do some movement here with this Penn defense, but it doesn't work this time. 6 white jerseys around the ball carrier, Shannon Polk, but there looked to be some sort of mix-up in the backfield.
Looked like there was a little mix-up in the backfield. You're going to see Carmel with the play, and I think it was called to the other side, but the fullback, Jeff Wheeling, went to the wrong side, and it was a little bit out of kilter. Bo Sands comes in as the first one on the stop. That's the thing about the size. Even though Carmel is much bigger, Penn might have the speed advantage because it's so small and quick.
Meek looking to throw the football for the first time tonight. Down to the 40, but incomplete. Intended for Keating. Bayline, the defensive back, was there on the defense. Keating was open, but Bayline knocks it loose at the last moment.
Well, he's going to see the quarterback on the scramble, throwing the Penning, and watch Bayline. What he does here is get his hands right in at the right second to knock the ball away.
3rd down and 12 now for the Carmel Greyhounds. Travis Meek, outstanding year at quarterback, completing 55% of his passes this season. He had to play behind Clay Walters, an all-state caliber quarterback the past 2 years here at Carmel, but the senior has gotten his chance and he's taken advantage. Big 3rd down play. Out of the flat. Pass is caught. Josh Trishler will be well short of the 1st down. It'll bring up 4th down and a punting situation for Carmel.
Well, he's going to see pressure right up the middle from Mike McBride. Does a good job of getting in, pressuring the quarterback where he has to throw early, and it's a little bit short for 1st down.
Justin Weintraub out the punt. Nick Bayline, one of the 2 men deep for Penn. Siri will take it. The 15, trying to turn the corner, and it's not going to happen. The Penn Kingsmen will get their 2nd offensive possession of the night, already on top 7-0. You see there is indeed some history between these two, and of course, just a year ago, they met in this particular game, the semi-state championship, but it was played up at Penn in a very sloppy field condition. The Kingsmen prevailed 28-14, and then the next week went to the IHSAA Dome and won the state championship. Field conditions much better tonight. Excellent football weather out there, a little bit crisp. Great night for football, absolutely. Bayline looking to throw it again. Had a man open, but incomplete. Well, that was a nice route, the out and up, intended for Craig Weston, but Bayline just a little strong.
And I'll tell you what, that's the 2nd time they've tried to go Sam Morrison's way. They're going to pick on him tonight, and the thing about it, he has to be in position. They're playing a lot of man and zone, and on that route right there, the guy went out, ran a wheel route, took it up, he was wide open. Like you said, it was a little bit too long by Bayline.
Coach Giesman, hands on the knees, thought he had an opportunity there to maybe put some points on the board. Weston was open. 2nd down and 10, out of the shotgun. They hand it to Becker, and he's tripped up. Reaches the 25, picks up a couple, but it's still a 3rd down and long situation. Let's go downstairs to Ron Sexton.
Vince, you mentioned the field conditions a while back of last year's game. Could have been the same this year had they played the game at Penn. Chris Giesman told me they had 5 inches of snow on top of mud, so he was thrilled to make the road trip this year.
The turf is maybe a little bit sticky just from some dampness out there, but I would rather play in the soft grass than the hard frozen turf.
In the middle of the field, in between the hashes, as the game goes on, it'll probably get a little bit softer.
3rd and 8, split backs behind Bayline, and he's looking to throw it again. The blitz is on, and he puts it up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Intended for John Gaidos. The defense was there to put on the pressure on both Bayline and Gaidos, trying to bring it in.
Well, he's going to see as soon as Bayline releases the ball, he's getting hit. And Sam Morris does a great job of breaking up the pass on that play with Gaidos.
Mike Wegner in there, harassing Bayline again. Bill Seymour comes on to punt for Penn. Good look at the Carmel deep man, John Serra. Seymour averaging about 40 yards per kick. It's a decent one. Serra takes it on the run at the 45. Penalty flag is coming down, and Penn is going to be called for a block in the back. Carmel, rather, Mike Hedegaard called for the block in the back on the return. Penalty flags are down. 4:35 to play here in the first.
That was an awful close one, Vince. If he got his head behind the back, that's where the call is going to be.
They'll mark it off against the Carmel Greyhounds, and Carmel will have it 1st and 10 when we return on the Indy TV Game of the Week.
Every day it happens. Someone breaks through our shell. And in their courage, strength, and even their failings, they become our teachers. And what we learn at their bedsides makes us better doctors, better nurses, better people.
Do I have it? Is it spreading? Well, I know enough if I felt it. At Anthem, we know that if we can help with the questions, the answers will become clear. Would my husband look at me differently? That's why we developed our mammography reminder program, so you can live with answers instead of uncertainty. How will I know? Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Get well, be well, stay well.
Looking for some sports this holiday? Well, NBTV has your answer with High School Football Championship Weekend. It's 2 straight days of pad-crunching action as the best of the best in high school football collide on the floor of the Dome to be crowned champions of the gridiron. On Friday, Vince Welch and the NBTV sports team bring you the 1A and 2A state finals live at 3:30 and 7. Then on Saturday, tune in for all the action of the 3A, 4A, and 5A state finals. Don't miss the class acts of high school football with Championship Weekend on NBTV.
After the 15-yard penalty, Carmel takes over 1st and 10 at their own 32. Holt looking for some running room, and it's just not there. Picks up 3 to the 35. I'd like to welcome all those joining us following the IU basketball game. The Hoosiers victorious over the Billikens of St. Louis, 70-54. So Indiana advances to Madison Square Garden in New York, and the semifinals of the Chase preseason NIT could possibly end up playing Jim Cruz's Evansville ball club. Evansville battling Iona tonight, and the winner will get Indiana. 2nd and 7. This time it's the fullback. Whaling carrying the football up near the 40. Will bring him 3rd down and 2.
Vince Whalen just comes out and runs over whoever's in front of him, even if it's his own men. He played JV guard when he was on the JV team, so his motivation is to get out there and run over as many people as he can.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. Carmel had one fullback move away, another fullback got hurt, so they had to bring Whaling, who normally, as Charles said, played an offensive line position, and put him in the backfield. Has it again, and has the 1st down, carrying it up near the 45. Now, fullbacks sometimes are just glorified guards anyway, and at least Whaling knows what to do with it. He carries the football and ducks the shoulders and moves people out of the way.
Well, I'd hate to speak Pertil on this play. Watch you see 83. He's just running over whoever's in front of him. Doing a great job of just getting the yardage that they need for the 1st down. Nothing fancy about that play.
1st and 10 from the 45. Polk on the pitch. Stepped up by Ricky Surrey, and Polk won't even go to the turf. He'll just stand up, and they'll exchange a little trash and return to their huddles.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Penn eventually adjust to Pertil going in motion. John Pertil, number 83. Wherever he's going in motion, that's where Carmel has run so far. He's the H-back, the move guy. Coach Belden, I think, likes to run this formation, get a guy in motion to add an extra blocker. Now you see Pertil right there getting instructions. But every time so far they've run the H-back motion, they've run to his side.
Pertilli, I believe it is, and he's taking the instruction from Belden and running in some plays. Trishler in motion. Polk again on the carry. Stacked up. Number 66, Sean Watterson, the 6'2 senior.
I'll tell you what, every time Penn has hit Polk, they've hit him pretty hard. He's going to see misdirection play, and Polk does a job of getting into the hole, but as soon as he gets there, he is met. A nice tackle by Watterson.
3rd and 4, the ball just across the 50 inside Penn territory. The Kingsmen lead 7-0. Penn marched right down the field on its first offensive possession for a touchdown. Polk again. Very close to the first down. They needed to get to the 45. It's going to depend on the spot that they get here. You see the yard marker and the first down marker up at the 45-yard line, and that's just exactly where the ball is spotted. First down, Carmel.
Boy, he runs right where Fertilli is, until he doesn't get hit until he gets to that line. Fortunately for him, he had the momentum going forward. He was able to take on those 4 or 5 guys. But boy, did he meet a wall right there.
Inside of a minute and a half to play in the first quarter. Carmel with its most significant drive of the evening. Play action fake. Meek's going to put it up. He's got a man down the middle of the field, and it's intercepted. Nick Bayline has picked off Travis Meek, and the celebration on the Penn sideline is underway.
When they say all over the field, Bayline is all over the field. He had a great play on timing earlier on. He's a quarterback making big throws and making interceptions. Wow. And here's the coverage on the best guy for Carmel, Josh Trissler. You're going to see a pass that's well thrown. Bayline times his jump. You're going to see his jump coming up perfectly. Watch this, folks. It doesn't get any better than that.
That's a great defensive play.
It does not get any better than that.
That was not a bad throw from Travis Meek, right on the money, and Bayline, perfect timing defensively. Ball marked at the 7-yard line, so Penn deep in its own territory. Trying to hammer its way out of the shadow of the goalpost. Picks up a yard or two at the most, and we're inside of the final minute, as you see here in the first quarter.
Well, we were told by Coach Giesman that Bayline is the best athlete, and he definitely is showing it tonight. Here you see the plays coming in.
Penn, one of 3 state champions from a year ago, still in the hunt for a repeat title. North Montgomery in Class 2A and Carroll in Single A. All trying to repeat as champions. Bayline out of the shotgun. Hand off to Hardy, the fullback. Takes it to the 10-yard line, and that'll do it for quarter number 1. The Kingsmen must like their position now, leading Carmel 7-0 in the semi-state championship game on Indy TV.
What's the matter? Couldn't you sleep?
Did you think I wouldn't find out?
Is this about the ring I gave you? Listen, cubic zirconia looks just like a real diamond. Is this about my time in prison?
You drank the last of the milk.
Got milk? In 1954, a young basketball coach led tiny Milan High School to the state championship. The determination of Coach Marv Wood and his team enabled them to defeat much larger schools, thus creating the Miracle of Milan and inspiring the movie Hoosiers. Teachers Credit Union can help you achieve your goals by providing the financial services you need to win the games of life. So for the best value in credit cards, high-yield savings, share draft checking, and home equity loans, TCU is where you belong. Out here you can dip, you can dunk, or you can really take the plunge. Harvey's French Dip Sub. It's the juiciest, tastiest sandwich of them all. Get it with mild Swiss or without. Whichever you choose, dip it in our steaming au jus, and it's sure to make a splash. Take the plunge with Harvey's French Dip. One juicy bite, and you'll taste why it's better out here. And try Arby's new home-style fries. They're so good, they beat McDonald's in a national taste test.
Your Central Indiana Ford dealers helping make high school football a possibility on Indy TV. Thanks to Mike Razor Ford in Lafayette. You high school football fans had to appreciate that great athletic play from Nick Bayline, the defensive back of Penn. Also plays quarterback, so he knows a little something about having a defender make a great play against you, and Bayline did just that with a big interception, putting it into the Carmel drive. Penn on the first play of the second quarter, deep in their own territory on 3rd and 7. Bayline got it on his hip pocket, and he's going to be sacked. defensive play. Mike Wagner, his 6th sack of the season, will bring up a punting situation for the Kingsmen. Look at the first quarter numbers, very even. Of course, Penn had the big pass play, the 35-yarder to Seymour. That gives the Kingsmen the passing advantage. And the 1 turnover there right at the end of the first quarter, Carmel's interception. A great play by Penn's defensive back, Nick Bayline. Bill Seymour deep to punt for Penn. And it's a good kick. John Cera is just going to let it bounce and decide whether to pick it up. He's going to let it lay. Down inside the 30. Wow, what a boot from Seymour. He was back around his own end zone, and he kicked it out deep now into Carmel territory. Of course, next week, it's a big weekend here on NDTV for high school football championship weekend. You'll see the single A and 2A state championship games on Friday, November 29th. And then on Saturday, we'll roll out the 3A, 4A, and 5A state championship games. You'll see them all on your home for high school sports, NDTV.
We're going to give you football all weekend long.
Football, and more football.
Along with the turkey.
Carmel back on the offensive possession now. Will try to move the football as they did in the previous drive before the interception. Polk loses his footing just as he crosses the 30-yard line down at the 32. Zabo was there to make sure Polk didn't get loose.
The turf is a little bit soft in the middle of the field, and wherever they are, you're going to see a lot of slipping going on as the game wears on. Here you're going to see Polk, when he tries to make his cut right there, slip out from under it.
Carmel, gone from last year's team. Quarterback Clay Walters, the leading scorer, running back Jim Lawhorn, who scored 32 touchdowns, and their leading rusher Dave Clemens, who ran for almost 900 yards. No room to run that time. Meek brought down, and on the defense, Chris Williams, the outside linebacker.
I'll tell you what, Vince, Penn's defense is just being the aggressor right here. They're coming off, not waiting back. You see a couple of guys in the backfield, they are not going to be the team that's attacked. They're coming out being the attacker.
3rd down and 7 for Carmel. 4 wide receivers. But Meek hands it off to Polk on the draw, and there's absolutely no running room. Williams again to make the hit. Brings out a punting situation for Carmel. Ron Sexton.
Turnover didn't provide time for a score for the Kingsmen, but it did allow time for the coaching staff to tweak the defense. They weren't happy with the linebackers on the previous drive, so they weren't shutting blocks after engaging. Appeared to do a better job here in this drive, though.
Bayline deep. Siri challenged the punt. Takes a pin bounce. Well, Carmel hasn't got many breaks here on the punting game so far. Both bounces have gone Penn's way. The Kingsmen will have the football at the Carmel 45 to begin their offensive drive. Field position can be a big key.
Definitely can. And Penn just seems like the team right now that has the momentum on their side. They're coming out making the plays, and that guy Bayline is the key so far to this game.
1st and 10 for the Kingsmen, leading Carmel 7-0. Wide receivers split to the left. Becker has running room, still on his feet. Doesn't want to go down. Takes it to the 30. Plenty of room to run. He picks up 15.
Here's a great run by Becker. He just, half of these yards he makes on his own. He's going to see some good blocking. The hole is right there for him. He runs up inside. But this is what I like. Look at him. He's just running for yards, fighting for more and more yards. Getting hit, just fighting for extra yards. And the thing is, when we talked to Coach Eastman before the game, he said the loss to Ben Davis showed them some things that they couldn't do and some things they could do. We scrap some things that we had in our repertoire. We're going to come out and we're just going to play hard tonight.
Hardy, the fullback. Back to the line of scrimmage. We'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Stay with us. We'll update some scores from around the area for you tonight. Of course, another 5A battle underway. The Ben Davis Giants and the Artesians of Martinsville. That game approaching halftime. Ben Davis is leading Martinsville. We'll give you the score and the other updates shortly. We've got a good one going here with 8 minutes to play in the first half. Penn leading Carmel 7-0, and more running room for Chuck Hardy. Inside the 5. The big fullback just rumbles for 33.
Boy, Chuck Hardy does a good job here. He doesn't run like a normal fullback. Watch him, folks. Get behind his blocking and watch his move. Sets it up perfectly. Turns the defender all the way around, and by the time they're able to tackle him, he's at the 2-yard line.
Ball marked at the 2. Penn threatening to put more points on the board. Hardy on the pitch. Touchdown, Kingsman. Carmel has not been able to stop Penn's offense. The Kingsmen have just driven the ball right down the field on their 2 scoring possessions. Let's go downstairs. Ron Sexton.
Carmel coaching staff furious. They were trying to call timeout, Vince. They didn't even have their goal line defense on in time.
Did the Carmel players just not hear that they were trying to get the timeout called, Ron?
Yeah, exactly. The proper players didn't come in for the exact substitutions in time, and they tried to call timeout, but it was too late.
The PAT from Miller is perfect. And the Kingsmen lead Carmel 14-0. You're watching Indy TV.
Family coming to your house for the holidays? You know, new furniture looks and feels so good. Don't wait for year-end sales. Buy your furniture now at the Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale. Store-wide savings are going on now. Have new furniture in your home for the holidays and get the lowest prices of the year. Make no down payment, no payment, and no interest till May of '97. The Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale. Savings, quality, and no money till May. You'll love it. Your family will love it. New furniture, huge savings, and no money till May. Now at the Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale.
It's bigger, it's fatter, it's better.
Truck Bus at your local Ford dealer.
And the savings are bigger than ever. Lease a new Ranger, America's best-selling compact truck, for just $129 a month. That's just $129 a month. Check out Ford Explorer, America's best-selling sport utility. Or get $1,000 cash back on a popular front-wheel drive Ford Windstar. It's bigger, it's fatter, it's better. It's Truck Month, and your Indiana Ford dealer's the one to see to lease a new Ranger for just $129 a month.
In the heat of the night, Gillespie and Tips are taking Thanksgiving week off, so in the spirit of the holiday, Indy TV's giving you an all-beef, no-turkey lineup. Cena, Hercules, Kung Fu, Tarzan, and Sinbad make their late-night debut with all-new adventures from your favorite shows. No turkeys here, all 100% pure beef. Put a little kick back in your late night with all-new adventures from Cena, Hercules, Kung Fu, Tarzan, and Sinbad. It's all beef, no turkey week. Beginning Monday, November 25th on Indy TV. It'll gobble you up.
Matlock Ford in Franklin, one of your Central Indiana Ford dealers, making high school football a possibility on Indy TV. Charles worked as illustrator here.
Well, Penn, so you're going to see Hardy, who does a great job. I guess they teach both of these kids to run behind your blocking. But here you're going to see something interesting that Hardy does. Watch him. He sees this defender coming from right here. So he sets him up. He goes over here. The defender will go there. And then he will break back here. And the defender will be spun around like a top.
Not a good feeling either when you defensive back.
When you set that up perfectly, the defensive back has no alternative but to go where he sees you, and then when you make that move, it's a little bit too late.
Hardy didn't get the touchdown, but he sure set it up as he carried that one down to the 2, and then, well, he did get the touchdown on the next play. The toss, 4-play drive, 45 yards. Penn is on top, 14-0. A ball bouncing over the head and into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Zero was there, but it bounced wickedly over the top of his cap and into the end zone. The Greyhounds will take over 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Jim Belvin talking with his quarterback, Travis Meek, said Meek is a diamond in the rough. And boy, he sure has been a shiny diamond this season.
I'll tell you what, so far Carmel's intensity has not matched Penn's intensity. Penn is come out, and they've done everything they wanted to do. They wanted to run the ball and neutralize Carmel's size, and they've done all those things so far.
7:45 to play. First half. Carmel with work to do, trailing Penn 14-0. Trissler split out of the bottom of the screen. The ball is on the ground. Meek's not going to have anywhere to go. Once the ball's on the ground in the backfield, it's hard to make anything positive in that situation, and Carmel was unable to do that, and Meek loses about 5 on the play.
Here you see Meek never really has the ball. Once he picks it up, it's virtually too late. I mean, those defenders for Penn are so quick, they're getting in there. Carmel has the size, but right now, Penn is beating to the punch. They are not letting that size advantage get to them. And folks, you got to understand, Carmel's O-line is 271 pounds on the average. Penn is only 209 up front. But Giesman has done a good job of getting these guys ready to play.
Loss of 8 on the play, so it's 2nd and 18. To the fullback. Picks up a few, but not much. It'll be a 3rd and long situation facing the Greyhounds.
So Carmel looks out of sync right there. The fullback runs into the quarterback. The rhythm is not on. They're just playing out of sync right now. Penn's defense is doing a lot of different adjustments. They're shedding blockers. The linebackers are. The defensive line is doing an excellent job against a much larger front.
Penn's defensive unit has allowed just 2.7 yards per rush this season. So yards on the ground are hard to come by for opponents of the Kingsmen. Carmel has found that out tonight. Meek to throw. He's under pressure. And he's sacked. The blitz from the outside linebacker, Chris Williams.
And Chris Williams was there on that draw, and it was the same play. There was nobody to block him. When you spread out in the split formation, there's nobody there. He's going to see Williams coming in the bottom of your screen. Right here. No one to block him.
Meek didn't have any choices. Comes to the sideline, and not much you can even tell him at that point. That's a decision beyond his control. A good punt. Bayline retrieves it at the 45, goes backwards for a few yards, makes a couple of jukes, and eventually gets it back to the 45. The Kingsmen will have the football 1st and 10, leading 14-0. Well, the Indiana Hoosiers won this evening, defeating St. Louis at Assembly Hall in the preseason NIT. Means that the Hoosiers will play semifinal action next Wednesday, the 23rd, at Madison Square Garden in New York. Look for Bob Knight's game day. The Hoosiers will play at either 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and game day will air 30 minutes prior to game time. The only place to hear the coach, NBTV. It's been a successful first half for Nick Bayline, the quarterback of Penn. He's engineered a couple of scoring drives and made a great defensive play for an interception. Looking to throw, but he's not going to have an open man. He's still on his feet. Still on his feet. Now he's got some running room. Incredible effort. Bayline will not be brought down. Taken all the way to the 21. Wow.
I tell you what, he's going to take this team on his shoulders and carry them to the promised land.
Penalty flag on the play, but boy, I tell you what, even if it's against Penn, that's not going to erase that incredible effort from Nick Bayline. They're talking to the Penn captain, so evidently it's going to go against Carmel. Face mask against the Greyhounds, a 34-yard pickup on the run. Charles Bayline was stopped 3 or 4 times on this play.
And I'll tell you why this happens. Once he gets stopped, the defenders on this particular play are going to relax. Here you're going to see that guy thinks he has it. So these guys kind of move around. There's the face mask right there. They think he stopped right here. See, 33 is right there just jogging to the play. And then he sees, hey, I got to go get him. I got to go get him. It's too late. And watch this move right here. He sets it up. 2 guys fly by him. 33 again on your screen. He does an excellent job of just all-out effort. That's all I can say about that.
Wow, what a great run for Bayline. This young man been the star of the game so far. You see his rushing numbers this season. Well, he's come up big tonight. First down, the ball marked just maybe outside the 10, so it looks like the Kingsmen could possibly get a first down, but it would be inside the 1 if they can get there. take it inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. It's a good look at Coach Giesman. In his 24th year at the helm of the Kingsmen. One of the most successful high school football programs in the nation. Of course, had won a state record 89 in a row regular season games before making the trip down here to Indianapolis earlier this season and meeting up with Dick Delahan's Ben Davis Giants. Second and 8. Hardy. Takes it maybe to the 7 at the best. It'll bring up a third down situation for Penn.
Carmel has to find a way to stop Penn's ground game. But, I mean, all the backs in the backfield, Becker, Hardy, Bayline, they all are doing an excellent job on the ground tonight. And Carmel has not been able to find an answer for it.
Chuck Hardy, you see his season numbers. He's got a touchdown tonight. And Penn is on top, threatening to put more on the board. Bayline will throw the football towards the end zone, incomplete. A penalty flag is down. I think we're going to have interference against Carmel. Pass intended for number 40, Ricky Siri, and there was some contact in the end zone. We'll get the official call. Working the game tonight in the stripes, David Mounts, the referee. Kerry Peckinpah, the umpire. Melvin Redmond, David Mounts, and Jack Beamey. The pass into the end zone, and you'll just see that Ricky Siri ends up on the ground, and there you see him. The hands up in the air. It's kind of tough to tell from that angle whether that contact was legitimate or maybe Siri was doing his best.
I really couldn't see it.
Acting job. Hardy eaten up by the Carmel defense at the 5. Good defensive pursuit from the Greyhounds. Let's go downstairs to Ron Sexton.
Despite all the disarray on both sides of the ball, Jim Belden had been calm for the most of this first half drive until that penalty. He felt that that pass was clearly uncatchable.
And your opinion, Ron?
I'd have to agree with him from down here. At least from that vantage point, it did appear that he had no chance of catching the football. And keep in mind, I'm on Carmel sideline, and others can hear me.
Second and goal for Penn. Inside the Carmel 5. Bayline looking to throw it again. It's picked off, but Sam Morris out of bounds. It'll bring up third down. That is a play very similar to what Penn scored on in their first possession.
That could have been a big play for Carmel. Their defense is stepping up here, and they needed a big play right there.
Penn wants to talk it over. A big third and goal situation when we return on the road to the Dome.
What am I doing? Am I too old for this?
Can my body take this? At Anthem, we know that if we can help with the questions, the answers will become clear.
All of this to our love life.
That's why we developed our maternity care program to help deliver your answers as well as a healthy baby.
Will my baby be okay?
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Get well, be well, stay well.
When you need a doctor, you can always go to the phone book, or you can do what we recommend. Ask a friend. That's where more of our patients are coming from. We're the St. Vincent Primary Care Network. We continue to grow because of recommendations from families and friends. How can you choose a member of the St. Vincent Primary Care Network? Call 1-800-633-7378 for a copy of our physician directory. It's a good friend in your search for a great doctor.
It's the original big one. The biggest one-day sale of the season is happening at Kohl's this Saturday only at 7 a.m. For big, big savings, get to the big one and save 20 to 50% on thousands of items throughout the store. Plus, early bird specials from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So bring your card and get ready to save. It's huge. It's gigantic. It's the big one. One at Kohl's. This Saturday, 7 a.m. till midnight.
We're happy to have Anthem on board as a sponsor of the Indiana High School Athletic Association on Indy TV. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, a tradition of helping Hoosiers. Get well, be well, stay well. All is well for Penn at this point. 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. Bayline into the end zone. Touchdown. John Guidos, the tight end. Several big catches from him this season, but none any bigger than that one. It's a 20-0 Penn advantage.
You're going to see on the play action fake, Guidos blocking. All of the defenders in the secondary get sucked up, and no one's back there to cover. This play always works. The play action pass in the goal line situation always works because the tight end can always sneak out, and there you see a prime example of it. Just get in the back of the end zone, set up, catch the touchdown.
Dave Miller on for the PAT. This Carmel crowd in a bit of stunned silence as their Greyhounds are behind 21-0. Watch Bayline find the open man.
Bayline does such a great job of faking. And there you see a nice block right there. Guidos is right in the back of the corner of the end zone, no one around him.
Well, if we can look at that again, I want to see that block that comes across from, looked like maybe the tight end spot, and I think that was 35, Sean McGann. And let's take a look, just when it looks as though the defender might be able to get to the quarterback. Watch 33 in blue get picked off. Bam.
You see the touchdown, you see the throw, but these things don't show up on the stat sheets right there. 35 coming over and making an excellent block.
Big hit. Sean McGann, 52 yards in 7 plays, takes just over 3 minutes. Bayline, they Guidos. Bayline's second touchdown pass of the night. Carmel with just under 3 minutes to play in the first half has to get something going. And a nice return. David Martin out to the 35-yard line, and the Greyhounds will have it 1st and 10, a 25-yard return for Martin. Very important here, Charles, I think, for Penn, or for rather Carmel, to get something generated here before halftime. I mean, even if it's a field goal, get some points on the board before they go to the locker room.
You have to at this point. I mean, they have not been able to generate any kind of offense. This would be a good momentum builder for them if they can get some points on the board.
But at the same time, you don't want to gamble too much and have a turnover go the other direction. But down 21-0, Carmel's in a position they have to make something happen. And Meek will try to do it with the pass over the middle. He's got his man, the tight end, Keeney, near the 50-yard line. The chains will move. It's 1st down for Carmel.
Well, here you're going to see Tiny run a 10-yard out route. The linebacker has good coverage, almost gets there and gets the ball, but that's a great catch and great concentration by Tiny to catch the ball and also fight for extra yards.
There's a look at the 6'2", 230-pound junior. Meek will throw it again. Over the middle again. It's Chrysler, and he's just belted by Williams. Boy, we've called out Chris Williams' his name a lot tonight. Nice defensive play from the outside linebacker. But Trissler's an interesting story as we watch him come across the middle. Was on the cross-country team, and of course, the Carmel cross-country team, state champions. He was second on the team in this recent state meet. So he's already got a state championship medallion around his neck, and he's out here on the Carmel football team now trying to make it happen again. It's not often you see an athlete play 2 sports in the same season. Meek into the flat. It's Trissler, and he's just belted. Bayline makes the hit.
And guess who's home?
Wow.
Bayline is all over the field.
Give Trissler credit, though. He pops right back up after this hit, and I mean, he is belted.
This Tristler right here is running an out route, and you're going to see the cornerback settling in the zone, and as soon as he catches it, wham, he does a great job of holding on. You don't hit any better than that. For all the kids at home watching that, that's a perfect form tackle. Your helmet right in the chest, not your head down, but the helmet right there. Boy, that was excellent tackle.
Ball at the 35. It was good for a first down, so Carmel is moving into Penn territory. Needs to throw it again. Almost picked off. Out of the hands, intended again for Tristler. Looked as though that one might be picked off, but it just over the stretched fingertips of Williams, I believe.
And Williams was all over the field, but that was the same route that we saw the previous play. Meeks is looking for Tristler. And you mentioned it's hard to run cross-country and play football, but this guy, they say, runs everywhere. He probably is going to run home after he takes a shower and plays in this game tonight.
Early in the season, he would run to practice and run home. A regular Forrest Gump.
His mom tells him, go get something from the grocery store. He's going to run. He's not going to take the car or the bike.
Second down, Meeks to throw it again. He's in trouble. Somehow sheds the tackler, and he's got a man open. Heating out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Nice job from Travis Meek to somehow shake the defenders.
Meek does an excellent job right there of shedding the defenders. Watch him here. He's going to have pressure from the backside. Untouched. Number 44, Seymour, but he just does a good job right there. Watch. Has the presence of mind to break away from the defender and find Heaney, who is looking for him, and he's looking for him.
They mark it at the 28. Third down. 3 to go for the first. Just over a minute to play here in the half. Carmel down 21 to nothing. Sarah with some running room to the 10. John Sarah deep into Penn territory. Penalty flag on the play. Personal foul, roughing the passer against Penn. So that's going to push the ball a little closer to the goal line, already marked at the 10.
I like this play. Watch Stewart. He's going to sit down and make himself available. He's going to hook up in a perfect dead zone spot. Just put his hands in.
Well, Meek has already let the ball go, and then he takes a pretty good shove there from Sean Watterson.
We're going to watch Stewart do some work here. Make 2 defenders with he splits those guys. Oh, this is a nice move. Nice pickup with first down, and they'll have some more yards.
Well, Carmel declined the penalty. So they're going to move the ball instead of having it marked at the 5. They'll bring it back to the 10. First and goal now from the 10-yard line. And now that the officials are talking about it to make sure that the ball is placed in the proper spot. First down, Carmel. The clock is ticking, 45 seconds to play in the half. Back across the middle, and it's intercepted. Bayline has done it again. Wow, what a play. Again from this young man. And now there's going to be a roughing the passer penalty again, possibly, against Penn. Well, Bayline just dove into the picture to make that interception. Nope, the penalty looks as though it's going against Carmel. Well, we saw both teams reacting positively.
Everybody's saying it's against everybody else.
Personal foul against Carmel. Personal foul against Carmel.
Oh.
Offsetting penalties. Personal foul against Penn. So now will the offense come back on the field, or were these personal fouls after the interception? It looks as though the Carmel offense is coming back onto the field. The Greyhounds want to talk about it. They'll call a timeout. 34.7 seconds to remain in the first half. It's been an exciting one, although the score may indicate otherwise. 21 to nothing. Penn on top of Carmel.
When you are ill, doubt is a cancer. Fear is a virus. Uncertainty, loneliness, despair. All are as toxic as any disease. They should not be ignored.
Don't make the rental mistake. Come to Household Furniture.
Here at Household Furniture, you can pay less than renting when you're buying. Household Furniture has living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, appliances, even electronics. Been turned down for bad credit or bankruptcy before? Don't worry. Household Furniture can give you low monthly payments, low prices, and they can approve your credit without going through a bank or finance company.
Don't make the rental mistake. Come on to Household Furniture.
Indie TV proudly presents Damon Bailey, Living as a Legend, a one-hour portrait of one unforgettable man and the memories he gave to all Hoosiers.
Fun unhappily. What's all the excitement about?
Tonight I'll be ready to sleep in my own bed.
Nope. Never. It's a full hour of unhappily, and that's twice as much sticky cotton.
All right.
Another double dose of unhappily.
Sunday night at 9 on Indie TV.
Well, let's take a look here at what the roughing the passer penalty is all about. Evidently, the official indicated the wrong way the first time. It is just one penalty, and it's against Penn. I don't know, Charles.
That's awful close, but I guess since he went to the helmet. But the one thing the quarterback cannot do is throw back across his body.
So Carmel gets a big break. Whaling carries it inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line, and the Greyhounds want a timeout immediately with 30 seconds remaining on the clock. So Carmel, if not for that personal foul penalty against Penn, would have had this drive thwarted by another Nick Bayline interception. With some extra life for the Greyhounds. Let's go downstairs for Ron Sexton.
Penn catches a break in terms of timing. Their kicker, David Miller, is injured. He's been taken to the locker room, but they're not the ones driving for a late field goal here before the first half. He must have injured his planting knee on that last PAT, Vince, and we'll try to find out more during halftime.
Ron, speaking of halftime, give us a preview of what's to come.
Well, last week we talked about the oldest continuous college football rivalry in the state. This week we'll talk about perhaps the most prominent with the Oak and Bucket game coming up. We'll hear from both head coaches and their final games at their respective schools coming up tomorrow at Purdue. And also the latest from the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Harbaugh calls it a must-win in terms of the playoff picture this weekend at Foxborough.
Not an easy place to go when you need a must-win.
And not only that, after a tough loss to Denver, Parcells is going to have those guys fired up. They're going to have to come out and play this week.
The Penn defense trotting back on the field following the timeout. Jim Belvin will lead his offensive troops. Second and goal from the 2. Carmel trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. And now we've got a whistle and a flag. You see the reaction, obviously the penalty against Penn. Lined up there in the neutral zone, Charles.
I think you're exactly right. You don't need to give them any more yards than what they need. They're already at the 2. Half the distance to the goal line is 1 yard.
And not exactly the most costly penalty, though, when you just move it up a yard, but anything closer to the goal line, and there it is, touchdown. Jeff Whaling, the fullback.
I think even if that penalty wasn't there, Whaling is going to get in on that. Great blocking. Does a good job of getting behind his line. He's going to see Whaling
going behind Stewart and Sandquist.
Just gets the ball and rams his way in, not even touching until he hits his own man, Peeney.
Boy, that's lucky Peening there. You can suffer a knee injury on a play like that, the way someone falls on the back of your leg, and Carmel certainly cannot afford an injury to Aaron Peeney. There's a good look at the touchdown man, Jeff Whaling. And on for the PAT will be Kyle Alonzo. He's hit 44 of 51 this season. Nick Blake will hold, and the extra point is perfect. So Taking quite a while, but the Greyhounds have finally gotten on the board. Better late than never. 27 seconds to play in the first half.
And they really needed this touchdown, Penn. I mean, going in, the momentum has been against them. Whalen does a great job of just getting the ball, finding the end zone. Doesn't waste any time.
Celebration at Carmel High School. 8 plays, 65 yards in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. The touchdown was scored on the ground, but much of that drive was through the air as Travis Meek engineered his Greyhounds down the field. And there's a look at Jeff Whaling, the 6'1", 230-pound junior fullback. His 6th touchdown of the season. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, one of the many local Central Indiana Ford dealers making high school football a possibility here on NDTV. A salute to the Central Indiana Ford dealers. The Carmel Greyhounds will kick it deep for Penn. Scott Becker has one of the Kingsman touchdowns tonight. Just 27 seconds to play here in the second quarter. From the goal line. Across the 15 to the 20. Brought down at the 23. Remember, stay with us at halftime. We'll update scores from around the state. Of course, everyone trying to get to the RCA Dome with a victory tonight. You win tonight, you'll gather next weekend and work off the turkey for a chance to win a state championship. Chris Giesman knows all about going to the Dome. He took his Kingsmen there a year ago and took the state championship trophy back to Northern Indiana.
Well, the way Bayline has played tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if he threw the ball and also went out to catch it and take it in for a touchdown.
Kneels down on a knee, and the Penn Kingsmen will be content to take this one in with a 21-7 halftime advantage. What a great first half of football. Penn jumps out to a 21-0 lead. Carmel comes back late in the half on their final possession to put a touchdown on the board. It's 21-7. Let's go downstairs to Ron Sexton.
Thank you, Vince. Coach Giesman, you joked before the game, if you had the lead at the halftime, you might be the first coach to retire. Not your opposing number tonight. Your impressions of the first half?
Well, we, out until the last drive, we played as well as we can play. I thought we were out of the trap, and Bayline made the interception, but we had the penalty on the play. That's not us. We don't play like that. When we play like that, the end result is giving up touchdowns. So that kind of hurt, but we still had a good first half of football.
Before the game, we talked about emotion. You cited the even keel your team has ridden all year. How do you make sure they maintain that in the second half?
Well, I've got to go in and convince them now they've had a great half, because they may be down a little bit about that last score, but we've had a great first half of football.
Any latest on your kicker, David Miller?
No, I'll find out about that too.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Vince?
21-7, Penn on top of Carmel at halftime. You're watching the NDTV Game of the Week as it makes another stop on the road to the Dome.
With Sierra's strength and exceptional power, life's daily obstacles are easily handled. And with this kind of value, Sierra offers one less hurdle to overcome. See your Central Indiana GMC dealer today.
Family coming to your house for the holidays? You know, new furniture looks and feels so good. Don't wait for year-end sales. Buy your furniture now at the Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale. Store-wide savings are going on now. Have new furniture in your home for the holidays and get the lowest prices of the year. Make no down payment, no payment, and no interest till May of '97. The Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale. Savings, quality, and no money till May. You'll love it. Your family will love it. New furniture, huge savings, and no money till May. Now at the Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale.
You want to ride? You want to talk? the best. Cardiopulse. Well worth long.
Rated by Consumer Data as the best buy.
A big 5A battle here at Carmel. Penn on top of the Greyhounds, 21-7. We're at halftime. Let's go downstairs for our halftime host in Ron Sexton.
And Vince, for the first time all year, we don't have to scour the scoreboard and decide on a game for next week. First of all, we have 5 games for next week, and the teams will decide who shows up on NDTV. So let's talk about championship weekend. Of course, more to be decided than just this 5A game next week. We'll begin with Class A and Class 2A. Friday night, November 29th, Ray Wallace, former Purdue standout, will join us for coverage of that game here on NDTV. And on Saturday, championship weekend will culminate with Class 3A, 4A, and 5A on the statewide network. Perhaps Penn will make a return, leading here at halftime tonight at Carmel High School. So that's next week on NDTV. Last weekend at this time, we were talking about the oldest continuous rivalry in college football, the Monon-Bell. Tomorrow, though, it's perhaps the most prominent, but a dark shadow glooms this year in the open bucket game, given that Bill Mallory and Jim Coletto are coaching their last games at their respective schools. We'll begin with the word now from Purdue's perspective and head coach Jim Coletto.
You know, they're not been as productive of years as they would like. We've gone through a real turmoil over the summer, and the progress the kids have made, we've kind of gone on the rise, and we'd like to finish it off on the rise, and I'm sure they feel the same way.
Once a couple minutes goes into the game, everything's going to be normal. I think we just got to play for ourselves and play for Coach Klaus. It's going to be his last game in Ross-Ade, but I think after a couple minutes during the game, it's going to change, and everything will be back to normal for at least the game. So this will be my fifth IU game that I'm experiencing. This will probably be the most emotional ones, because obviously because I'm a senior, and there's 9 of us leaving, and this is going to be Coach Klaus' last game in Ross-Ade. It's going to be pretty emotional.
We've been in there, we've fought and battled, and just quite haven't got it done. And it's frustrating, but I think it makes you more determined. And I think that's the attitude that you take. And, you know, we're not that far away, really aren't, Vince. I believe in these people and know that it can get turned around here. And, you know, things were a heck of a lot worse when we came on the scene. And so I just feel strong that they're a football team that will come right back here and get the thing going back where it belongs. I think it's exciting. A lot of people are really involved, and a lot of hype, and it's a great rivalry right here within the state. I think I don't think there's a better rivalry anywhere.
The NFL now, the Indianapolis Colts may review this week as Week 16. We say that quickly because if in fact they lose in playoffs, destiny could indeed be decided this weekend in Foxborough. So the closeness of the standings, and you might see why some are calling this a must-win in Foxborough this Sunday. Is this a must-win? The question, the answer, in a roundabout way from the Colts complex.
They can still run the ball pretty good. Martin's a fine back, and Terry Glenn's become their go-to guy. Caught more passes than anybody else. When he passed up coach, it tells you something. But they've got a lot of weapons as far as guys who can catch a football, both out of the backfield and in wide receiver, and of course their tight ends been is very notable. So we don't see any holes in them. We're going to have to go out and play very, very good and play better than we played in the first half, and play better than we did last time we played them. I mean, last time we turned the ball over, I think, 5 times, and you can't do that. Go in there and expect to do that and win the football game. So certainly this is very, very important for us this week.
This is a big week again. It is a conference game, but a divisional game, and it's a little personal because they came in our home and stole one from us. Now we're going to go down there and steal one from them.
That's the feeling around here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we need a win to get where we want to be, and where we want to be is in the playoffs.
I think this was especially important just because the playoff implications. I think it'd be tough for us to get into the playoffs if New England does. And we need this game to knock them back a step and for us to climb up a step. And it's a do or die game. And I don't see how we can make the playoffs without winning this game.
And we'll, of course, wrap it up for you with NDTV Sports Sunday reactions from Foxborough on what many are calling a must-win situation for the Indianapolis Colts. Other news, the Indiana Pacers, not a must-win, but certainly every win is precious for this ball club. Latest on the Indiana Pacers on NDTV Sports Sunday, as well as the latest from the IRL, a new adaptation in terms of the engine. We'll have it for you on Sports Sunday, a special program from Kerry Addington And a wrap-up from the Oak and Bucket perspective from the coaches and their final games at IU and Purdue. That's at 6:30 now. At 6 o'clock, you high school fans will certainly want to catch Indiana High School Monthly, and football fans will love a feature from Arlington High School entitled 5 Days of Night. Our photojournalist Dennis Goins spent every day of practice and a week of playoff preparation with the Arlington Knights. That's coming up on this program, as well as kick-starting a sport. Soccer might reach the prominence of football one day. We'll recap some terrific soccer as it wrapped up this year in the IHSAA, now sanctioned by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, and touchdown tutor Carroll's pride, Frank Vega, helping students in a bilingual manner. That coming up on Indiana High School Monthly. We're at halftime, semi-state championship football, and Penn on top. Somewhat of a surprise here in the first half, 21-7, the Kingsmen with the lead.
Your Indiana Ford dealer can just put a new spin on driving a 97 Ford Taurus. Now you can lease one for just $235 a month for 24 months. That's just $235 a month to drive the best-selling car in America, Ford Taurus. With more style, room, comfort, and convenience than ever before. Just $235 a month to lease a new Ford Taurus. It's a new spin on Taurus without a big switch on your wallet.
Andy, dinner's ready.
See all your favorite toys come to life right before your very eyes. Only at Walt Disney's World on Ice Toy Story.
Come to Market Square Arena for 6 days only. Tickets on sale now at the box office and all Ticketmaster outlets.
The city, Bloomington, home to one of the world's greatest universities. The school, IU, home to 5 national basketball championships. The coach, Robert Montgomery Knight. The station, Indy TV. Join Indy TV sports director Vince Welch for an exclusive look at IU basketball with in-depth game analysis, player interviews, and of course a talk with the coach. Don't miss the hour-long Bob Knight Show, Sunday morning at 11 on Indy TV.
Back at Carmel High School, where the Greyhounds got a late first-half touchdown to take the 0 off the board, but the Penn Kingsmen have been the team of dominance so far through the first 2 quarters of play and lead 21-7. Action from around the state of Indiana on this very special semi-state night. The Ben Davis Giants. Well, you thought maybe if they were going to get derailed, it might be at Martinsville, a very tough place to play, but BD leading the Artesians by 3 touchdowns in the third. Cathedral in quite a battle with Vincent Lincoln on top by a point. How about the Brickies of Hobart routing Goshen? That one at halftime, 24-0. Fort Wayne Dwenger and Northwood. Dwenger with a 2-touchdown advantage at the break. Lures in Jimtown with a good ball game underway. That one at halftime tied at 7. Frank Vega and his friends from Carroll leading Whiting 14-0. That one's still in the first. And Tri-West on top of Milan 7-0 at the half. It's 21-7 here at Carmel. Penn on top of the Greyhounds on the Indy TV Game of the Week.
Indy TV and WFMS present the magic of a holiday season in lights.
Penn on top of Carmel 21-7. You give the dog a bone. Not many bones for the Greyhounds to gnaw on so far tonight as the Kingsmen jumped out to a 21-0 lead. And Carmel did get a touchdown late in the first half to take the 0 off the board. Here's how the Kingsmen put their first 7 up, and Nick Bayline, just a sign of things to come tonight.
Nick Bayline does a good job of holding on to the ball to the last minute, finding Siri on that play.
Ricky Siri on the touchdown reception, and then Bayline comes up again. Maybe this is one of the best plays of the night, but Bayline has made several.
That was a great timing of his jump. Does a good job of getting the interception.
And how about this terrific run here from the fullback, Chuck Hardy?
Watch him set up his move right here. Set up the line. The defensive back, Nick Olson, does a good job of getting down to the 2-yard line.
And then Hardy would finish it off with a touchdown of his own, makes it a 13-0 game, and the PAT makes it 14-0. And then this one, the play of the game so far, Bayline, and he's made several, but look at this. He's stopped, should have been stopped 2 times, 3 times, 4, 5, still on his feet, taking it to the sideline.
And watch this
then
move, two.
two more guys go by. So really, 7 players had an opportunity to get a shot at Bayline. But it was certainly a tough first half for Jim Belden and the Greyhounds, Ron.
Thank you, Vince. Coach, your thoughts on the first half? You trailed 21-7, but at least you put something on the board before the break.
Well, that was the good news. We put a little momentum back on the board for us, and not too many things have gone well. Certainly, we've got to be able to move the ball offense and keep our defense off a little bit and quit giving up the big play a little bit. Our kids will come out and play hard.
How have they managed to run the ball with such effectiveness given the size disadvantage on there?
Well, I'm not sure whether they have any size disadvantage. Defensively, we're fairly small and real quick. We just have to play our keys and do the things that we came into this ballgame knowing we could do.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Charles?
Well, we'll have to see the adjustments here in the second half. And Bayline, we talked about some of the big plays that he's made. Here's another touchdown pass that he tosses. Well, Guidos on the receiving end. Just about everything Penn did right in the first half, except a late penalty that allowed Carmel kind of a second life there on that final drive. And Whaling takes it in for the touchdown. But it's a 21-7 Penn advantage. And you see the numbers fairly even, other than maybe the rushing yardage where Penn has a distinct advantage.
And the other thing I want to point out here, Vince, the rushing yardage and the passing yardage for Carmel is the reverse. They want to have that 64 yards in the rushing category and 38. The 60-40 split is totally different, and that's because they're behind.
Well, and Carmel really moved the ball on that scoring drive through the air because they were up against the clock, and Travis Meek did a nice job at that. Well, these two teams have each lost once, and it's been to a common opponent. The Carmel Greyhounds lost to the Ben Davis Giants, and the Penn Kingsmen lost to the Ben Davis Giants. So maybe the one common thing in their season, of course, Penn had their 89-game regular season winning streak snapped. This was the only time they found the end zone, and this one was called back. So that touchdown didn't count. And Carmel got a touchdown against the Giants, but it was not enough as Ben Davis defeated Carmel 29-15. So these two teams know all about the Ben Davis Giants, and Ben Davis leading Martinsville in the third quarter. The winner of this game would get BD in the state championship next Saturday night at the RCA Dome. Second half action coming your way when we return to Carmel High School, where the Kingsmen lead the Greyhounds 21-7. Charles, I always find it interesting to see how the teams respond in the first couple of possessions of a third quarter, to see what happens in halftime and maybe how the momentum swings from what happened in the first half. And basically the first half of this game was owned by the Kingsmen.
Exactly right, Chris. And the other thing about that, Carmel scored at the end. They're going to get the ball back, so this is a good sign for them. They can score another touchdown here, and it'll be 21-14 that easily. The one thing they have to do is can't make any careless turnovers and not do anything to put Bayline in a position to make plays, because whenever they throw the ball his way, he's done some things to stop their drives.
Let's go downstairs to Ron Sexton.
We tried, as we promised, to update David Miller, the kicker for the Penn Kingsmen. I've been told he is done for the night unless it comes down to a game-winning type field goal situation. They hope that will not be the case, but they hope to keep him rested and perhaps use him next week if, in fact, they advance to the Dome. He twisted his planting knee, his left knee, on that last point-after attempt on their third touchdown in the first half. And, again, I've been told unless it comes down to a must-win field goal type situation, he's going to call it quits for tonight.
So Eric Hubner will be the kicker for the Penn Kingsmen. That's quite a loss. Miller kicked a 51-yard field goal last week for Penn. Kingsmen hoping they don't need his last-minute heroic field goal tonight. You get a good look at Shannon Polk deep to receive the kick from Hubner. Hubner is going to bounce it along the ground. Heening will pick it up and look for some running room. And the kicker, Hubner, ends up making the tackle. So he says, well, I don't get too many chances. I'm going to make the most of it.
He pushes this man up, say, hey, give me a block so I can get some running room up there. I don't get to do this that often.
Ball marked at the 35 to start off the drive, and there's the numbers tonight for Travis Meek. And the one interception was not a bad throw at all, but Nick Bayline just made a great play defensively. So it's been a good night for Meek. Trissler split out wide to the right. Polk, the tailback, picks up 5.5, maybe 6 yards. It'll be second down and for the Greyhounds. Now remember, Carmel won the opening toss, but they deferred to put the defense on the field first, and now it pays off. They score the touchdown right before the end of the half, and then they get the ball back again to begin the second half.
Initially, we questioned it, but it could have been a very smart move for them. Like I said, they can get us put 7 on the board right here, and it'll be right back in the ball game.
From the 40, Meek looking to throw the ball. Receivers are covered, and he's in trouble. Trying to get to the sidelines. He's belted down. Nice play there by Kovac. The team's leading tackler over to make the hit. Loss of a couple on the play, and it'll be 3rd down and 7.
Kovac makes the play, but there's pressure from the backside right there. And Meek doesn't have a chance to do anything with the ball. He's just running for his life.
And that's a secondary, what they call a secondary sack, if you will, because the secondary had their men's covered so well that the quarterback basically had no option but to hold on to the football and allow Kovac to get in there and make the play. Screen pass out to Polk in the flat. Absolutely nowhere, and it's Chris Williams again.
Chris Williams is either making the play on the quarterback or somebody in the backfield, and right there he goes unblocked. You're going to see they split out in a 4-wide position. They just kind of run a swing pass to Polk. There's no one to block Williams. He does a great job in open field of making the tackle on Polk.
Weintraub dropped the punt. Fielded by Ricky Siri, and his own man kind of bumped into him a little bit, and the Kingsmen will have the football 1st and 10. Look at a Weintraub. He dropped the football and then had the presence of mind to pick it up and still get the kickoff. Nice job. The numbers for Bayline tonight. 2 of his 3 completions have been for touchdowns. Not a bad percentage.
They have to find a way to stop him. He's able to do some things offensively that Carmel's not been able to answer.
A misdirection from Hardy, who was lined up in the slot, and he's sacked for about a 6 or 7 yard loss. He lined Hardy up in the slot, and the defense wasn't fooled a bit.
And here you're going to see the penetration by big number 60, Todd Wright, who gets back in the backfield. And as soon as Hardy gets over to his side, he takes him down along with number 68, Ernie Muniz.
There's a good look at Wright, the 6', 220-pound senior. Well, this is the game that the seniors step up and play big, and there are plenty of them on the field this evening. 2nd and long. Bayline again slips away from some defenders. He's got some running room towards the sideline. The 1st down and more. Inside the 30. Bayline making all the big plays tonight.
And I'll tell you what, if you're a secondary guy, you have to be upset with this because you cover him well, but Bayline does a good job right here. Watch. Tuck the ball and just take off running, and watch the downfield blocking right here. There you see one big block right there down the field, and Bayline, with that speed, was able to just outrun his defender.
Dedegaard ends up making the stop for Carmel, but not until Bayline has picked up 33 yards. And already down into the side, the Carmel 30. The ball marked at the 29. 1st down for the Kingsmen. Hardy, the fullback, to the 26. Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down. Hardy's really come on strong late in the season, and he's made some big plays here tonight. You see his numbers this evening, and of course had the big run that set up Penn's 2nd touchdown. Carried it inside the 5 on a big 30-plus yard gainer. 3rd quarter action, Penn on top of Carmel. They set up the screen nicely to Hardy. He's got running room. To the 15. Boy, Penn set that up nicely. Hardy hit his man once and then just let him go and turned around to receive the pass.
We talk about the patience factor. Here's Bayline just dropping back, taking his time. Hardy does a good job of hitting people, sliding out, has a blocker out front of him, number 54, Matt Beavis, and he just does a good job of picking up the first down.
1st and 10 from the 15. Carmel's defense needs to make a big play. Becker takes the pitch. Picks up 5 to the 10-yard line. Penn 4 times semi-state champions. Trying to get there to the state championship game another time.
That was a nice block by Hardy. He didn't get all of his of the defender, but he does a good job of stopping him, giving Becker enough room just to bounce it outside and pick up 5 yards on that play.
Becker ran for over 800 yards this season, averaged 5.7 per carry. The leading rusher on the ball club, although it was a balanced attack, but no room to run this time. The nose tackle, Todd Wright, is there to stop the play.
It looked like on that play, Carmel came with a run blitz. You know, this cross-direction backfield action has been hurting them in the game. And right here, you're going to see defenders just flying up to make the play.
That play might have taken a little bit too long to develop.
They've been running that play consistently, but on that particular time, Carmel just aggressively attacked it. They didn't sit back and wait. That's one of the things that has been hurting them up to this point.
3rd and 7. This is where Carmel's defense really thrives. Their opponents converting third down situations under 20% of the time. Bayline pressured, and he gets it off to Becker. Running room. Touchdown. Penn.
Vince Becker dials TD.com on his internet dial. And I'll tell you why. The patience factor. Here you're going to see Bayline set it up perfectly. And the key to the screen is patience. These guys do it so well. Watch Bayline just take his time. He has 3 defenders there. When you see 3 defenders in your face, you know your receiver is going to have a lot of room to work because the line is out in front of him.
Be interesting to see maybe from another angle whether that was set up to be a middle screen. I think it was, and that's a great call from the Penn sideline. On for the PAT. Remember, Dave Miller, the normal Penn kicker, is injured, and Ricky Siri on for the extra point, and he knocks it down. 28-7. Penn leading Carmel in the semi-state championship. You're watching Indy TV.
Tired of heavy meals? Try Subway. Fresh baked bread, fresh meats, fresh veggies, and plenty of 6-inch subs with just 6 grams of fat or less. Subway. Big on taste, not on fat.
Women don't sweat, they glow.
Times change.
Eat from the 4 major food groups every day.
You gotta play by today's rules.
Get 8 hours of sleep every night.
When you can't get 8 hours, make the most of the sleep you do get. On a Big Sur waterbed, you'll get a deeper, more relaxing sleep. Because, hey, you never know when.
Amy, we're going to a movie. Meet us at the mall.
Big Sur waterbeds, America's largest.
When it's a timely wrap-up of the weekend in sports you seek, set your sights on Indy TV and Sports Sunday. We'll do it when it's still news and when it's convenient to you.
This week on Sports Sunday, a recap of the Colts-Patriots game and a look back at the last Oaken bucket for Coletto and Mallory.
Check out Sports Sunday, Central Indiana's most comprehensive weekend sports wrap-up show.
Sports Sunday at 6:30 on Indy TV, brought to you in part by Community Hospitals Indianapolis, patient-focused medicine.
Don Dobson Ford in Monticello, part of the Central Local Indiana Ford Dealers, making Indy TV high school football a reality. Charles?
I'll tell you why this works so well. Here you're going to see the pressure on the middle screen when you have 1, 2, 3 defenders right there, and your guy right here, Becker, just waiting patiently, and his defenders out in front to build a wall for him. Catches the ball, does the rest, Dial the internet number, TD.com.
The Bayline makes it look easy, too, on the 7-play, 59-yard drive over almost 4 minutes. But Bayline held the ball to the last moment, made the nice touch pass, and Bayline has been the star of the game so far. Very impressed with his effort. The ball is loose and on the turf. Penn has recovered. No, they're saying Carmel has gotten it. Boy, I don't know how Carmel came up with that one. There were a lot of white jerseys around the football, but give credit to whichever Greyhound happened to pull that one out of the stack. As you see, Polk took quite a hit on that play, and it's a little injured. I don't know if that's an arm or a leg injury. See if we can check out the hit. Here comes the ball loose.
Right there, Polk's fighting for extra yardage, number 65 there. Mike McBride does a good job of getting it out. I don't know how they came up with this ball, though, but
Shannon Polk still out on the field despite what looked like maybe was a upper arm injury, but looks to be healthy enough now. John Serra carrying the football to the line of scrimmage at best, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
And if you're Carmel, you have to have a sense of urgency. There's 5 minutes and 37 seconds left in this quarter, but you also got to think Penn is moving the ball so well. You got to put some points on the board.
To 7, Penn on top of the Greyhounds. Polk, no running room at all. Chris Williams there defensively for the Kingsmen.
And Vince, I'll tell you, I would imagine that Kingsman, after that loss, after that long streak, he has these guys thinking, hey, we're going to go back down to Indy. We have to come out with a much higher level of intensity if we want to beat these guys. And here you see, Williams has been all over the field. I would bet he probably has 10 tackles on the game, if not more. He has been all around the ball.
Third on the team in tackles, but boy, he's been the leader in having his name called out tonight. He and Bayline have really carried the load. Meek looking across the field. It's overthrown and intercepted. Ricky Siri has picked off his 4th of the season, takes it to the 26. And Penn will have the football deep in Carmel territory again.
This is the cardinal sin for the quarterback. You never throw across the field. That's the one thing they teach you right here. Here you're going to see Meek dropping back, and he has to get rid of this ball because he has backside pressure. But he throws it way too high to number 22, Sarah. And Siri is right there to make a great interception.
Yeah, Sarah was there and open, but the pass was overthrown, and Ricky Siri waiting for the spiral to be nestled right in between the 4 and the 0. Under 4.5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Penn threatening again. Eric Hardy. Or Chuck Hardy, rather, on the carry. Takes it to the 22. Chris Giesman kind of like his position right now. Of course, I asked him, he and Belton are such good friends. I said, it's kind of a little ironic. You might be the man that sends him into retirement. And he just chuckled and said, we don't ever let the personal feelings get between what goes on in the field.
Sometimes your best friends can hurt you the worst.
2nd down and 5 for Penn. Threatening to put more on the board and strengthen the lead. Offsides against Carmel.
And the reason I say that, Vince, I'm sure they spent a lot of time when they were in college talking strategies, when they played together, when they were, at fraternity parties or whatever. They know a lot of what they want to do.
Oh, now, at a fraternity party, they were never talking football strategy.
Well, I said strategy.
Oh, strategy. Oh, that strategy and football strategy, 2 different things. I'm sure they've had many a conversation about football strategy over the course of their time, and certainly will go down in Indiana high school football history as 2 of the great coaches in this state. 1st and 10 following the penalty. Carmel there defensively. Billy Brown in helping make the stop. Hardy on the carry. Will be 2nd down and 7 for Penn. The ball spotted at the 12.
And you know, but sometimes home field advantage can hurt you in this situation. I mean, you feel comfortable, you feel a comfort zone. A team comes out and gets a guy like Bayline who just makes things happen early on. The Penn sideline is fired up. And they're playing at a much higher level tonight.
Becker has the football, lunges towards the 10-yard line, just a little bit shy. Will bring up 3rd down. And now I think you start maybe thinking about the clock a little bit too, Charles. Penn, I think, they realize, hey, if we keep it on the ground, the clock's going to continue to roll, and before you know it, we'll be into the 4th quarter.
You're exactly right. They have to make this. Everything is important now, especially this 3rd down, because they have to make a stop, get the ball back. You know, Penn has to probably go for it on 4th down because they don't have their kicker in. So all those things come into play, but if you're Carmel, you just have to come up with a stop.
Bayline sees something he doesn't like in the Carmel defense. He wants to call a timeout and talk it over. 2:06 to play in the 3rd. Penn on top of Carmel on NDTV.
Oh, look at that Pontiac.
I was thinking about a used car.
At Reeves Buick Pontiac, it doesn't matter if you choose a new or pre-owned vehicle. You'll always find helpful salespeople, quality service, and complete satisfaction. All in one great Southside location.
We'll take the new car.
At Reeves Buick Pontiac, we're not satisfied till you are.
What's so good about the taste of apple cinnamon Cheerios? It's an apple thing, right?
Definitely the cinnamon. No way, it's the baked-in cake.
Sliced apples, cinnamon, and brown sugar baked right into every little O of apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Baked-in cake, that's what makes them good. New Honey Nut Cheerios, and they're all for me.
New Honey Nut Cheerios has an even better taste and a bigger crunch.
Nobody can say no to the Honey Nut O's and the Honey Nut Cheerios.
It's new.
Everybody loves this stuff.
Family coming to your house for the holidays? You know, new furniture looks and feels so good. Don't wait for year-end sales. Buy your furniture now at the Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale. Store-wide savings are going on now. Have new furniture in your home for the holidays and get the lowest prices of the year. Make no down payment, and no interest till May of '97. The Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale. Savings, quality, and no money till May. You'll love it. Your family will love it. New furniture, huge savings, and no money till May. Now at the Bullock Furniture pre-holiday sale.
We're pleased to have Anthem on board as a sponsor of Indiana High School Athletics on NDTV. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, a tradition of helping Hoosiers get well, be well, stay well. Just over 2 minutes to play in the 3rd. Penn, Bayline up top, and it's almost intercepted there defensively for the Greyhounds. Eric Hedegaard, the linebacker, will bring up 4th down. And the field goal unit coming on.
Well, here's Hedegaard. Bayline doesn't see him, and he comes almost able to make the interception. That would have been a big turnaround because they would have had the ball and had an opportunity to take it up the field. Game is far from over. It's 2 minutes left. Carmel can get a couple of quick scores. They can be right back into it.
2 minutes in the 3rd remaining. 2:02 to play. Ricky Siri on for the field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 17, so it's a 27-yarder, and it hit the upright.
Wow.
It hits the right upright and bounces back. It's about the first good break Carmel's had all night. And remember, Ricky Siri, actually the second-string kicker, Dave Miller, injured earlier tonight. Well, watch this. Siri really gets a good boot, but you'll see it hit the right upright.
You can't get any closer than this. Watch it.
I mean, he booted it, too. I mean, the right upright is still shaking. Almost knocked it down.
I mean, that ball just stopped. It didn't glance off the upright. I mean, it hit it and just stopped this momentum and fell straight down.
There's a good look at Siri, and, of course, he had the big interception that put the Kingsmen in field goal position to begin with. so Carmel has dodged a bit of a bullet. And now the Carmel Greyhounds have a problem offensively. They've had to call a timeout. And Coach Jim Belden is not happy about it. Let's take a look at some of the other scores from around the state tonight. Well, looks like the winner of this one, which at this point, unless something drastic happens, is going to be Penn, would meet up with Ben Davis in next week's final. Cathedral has edged Vincennes Lincoln 21-19. A Cathedral Hobart match on the horizon as the Brickies thrashing Goshen tonight. 3A action, Fort Wayne Dwenger 2 touchdowns better than Northwood. 2A play, Lures leading Jimtown in the 4th. And Frank Vega and company rolling over Whiting. Tri-West, Coach Mark Haste beating Milan 21-0. Carmel trailing by 3 touchdowns themselves have got some work to do. The big fullback, Jeff Whaling, carries the football out across the 25 to the 26. Downstairs with Ron Sexton.
Guys, for the first time tonight, the Greyhound defense did not huddle up after coming off the field. I think it's pretty apparent to them it takes more than just emotion, but execution in a big game like this, and I think that's become quite clear at this stage in the game.
Well, it's certainly been a tough road to go for the Greyhounds tonight, both offensively and defensively. Penn has been the team making the plays. Polk with some running room. Nice little shake and bake into the middle of the field, and he takes it across the 30, up to the 34-yard line.
Boy, Polk doesn't waste time to get to the hole. Vince doesn't. He just gets in there and goes. You're going to see on the replay, Polk takes the ball, does a nice little dance move, almost has to run over the ref to make some more yardage.
Whatever you have to do.
Whatever
run
it
over
takes.
anybody.
Whatever it takes.
Your way. First down for Carmel. The chains have moved, and Polk has some running room. Now he's got it outside. Across the midfield stripe to the 45-yard line, brought down at the 44. So Shannon Polk injecting some life back into the Carmel attack.
And guess who was right there? Does this guy have an S on his chest or what? He is all over the field. Watch Polk here does a good job. The same play as the previous one, but instead of breaking it to the other side, he comes back out. Bayline has an angle on him. He runs the angle down and does a nice job of stopping Polk.
Good tackle. 22-yard pickup for Shannon Polk. Ran for over 1,400 yards during the regular season. We're in the final 30 seconds of the third quarter. Big tight end on the receiving end for the Carmel Greyhounds. Jeff Whaling, or the fullback rather. Whaling hauls it in at the 36-yard line, but penalty flags are down. The Carmel players indicating a personal foul against Penn, and it is roughing the passer. Boy, we've seen that one 3 times tonight. Penn's been called for it a couple of times, and Carmel's gotten that once. Well, they put skirts on these quarterbacks, Charles, or what?
These guys are going after the quarterbacks tonight. For some reason, they don't like them.
Who's the NFL coach that suggested they put skirts on the quarterbacks some years ago? Like something Mike Ditka would say, right?
I know, and it's one of the things is that guy just gets there and be in a mean disposition, and these guys are doing it tonight.
Well, it's tough when your job is to get to the quarterback, and then you get there, you know, it's tough to just hold up. You know, you want to do something.
You do all the work, and you figure when you get there, you got to make something show for it.
That's the reward, being able to hit the quarterback. Final play of the third quarter, in all likelihood, here as the Greyhounds work a 1st and 10. No room to move at all. Good defensive play. Poe Sands is there to make the stop. We've played 3 quarters. 12 minutes is all that remains between Penn and another trip to the RCA Dome.
basketball fans, here is an offer too good to pass up. Remember, the perfect season is the 76 Hoosiers finish undefeated. The championship season looks back at Coach Knight's 3 NCAA championships. Midnight Madness takes you behind the scenes of the first practice of the 1995-96 season. And get an exclusive look at an IU practice with Bob Knight Wire. To get a fan's eye view of IU basketball, send a check or money order for $24.95 or $74.95 for the complete set to the address on your screen. Do it today.
We have a seat reserved for you at Oak Express. In fact, Oak Express has over 50 styles of chairs, benches, and bar stools in stock and ready to take home. Capture the classic country look with our farm chairs, starting at just $36. This nostalgic Max Ray is $49, or the Boston Aerovac is just $48. Whichever chair you choose, you're getting the best seat in the house. Oak Express, Lafayette and Georgetown Road, and 8310 East Washington Street.
In the heat of the night, Gillespie and Tips are taking Thanksgiving week off, so in the spirit of the holiday, NDTV's giving you an all-beef, no-turkey lineup. Xena, Hercules, Kung Fu, Tarzan, and Sinbad make their late-night debut with all-new adventures from your favorite shows. No turkeys here, all 100% pure beef. Put a little kick back in your late night with all-new adventures from Xena, Hercules, Kung Fu, Tarzan, and Sinbad. It's all beef, no turkey week. Beginning Monday, November 25th on NDTV. It'll gobble you up.
Carmel on the move at the 30-yard line as Penn trying to claw their way back into the ball game, trailing 28-7. This is the first play of the fourth quarter. Shannon Polk to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
There's a flag on the play. It looks like they're going to call unnecessary roughness, Vince. Once again on Penn. And this has got to hurt you. I mean, you have Carmel stop in a third and long situation, and you make a mistake like that.
Dave Moulton was there on the tackle. Let's see if he's the one that could possibly be penalized. One of several personal foul calls out in this ball game tonight. There's Moulton in there with the nice defensive play on Polk. Let's see if we can see a personal foul in here somewhere. Well, didn't really see it on that sequence.
I really didn't see a personal foul, but I just saw the official throwing the flag in the vicinity of where the action was going on. And generally when that happens, it's something against the defense.
Well, and that is definitely the case. The ball marked at the 15-yard line. Carmel moving here early in the fourth. The pitch to Polk, and he's going to throw the football into the end zone, and it is it intercepted or incomplete? They still haven't given a signal yet. Intercepted. Was it Bayline again? I believe it was.
Once again.
Well, that was a delayed call down there in the end zone. I'm not sure if they were discussing whether or not Bayline came down out of bounds or whether he actually had caught the football. But here's the look, the pitch to Polk and the halfback option, if you will.
Polk has a lot of pressure on his halfback option. He has to get rid of it. He throws it up there. Sierra is back there deep. It looks like it's a fight for the ball. But somehow Bayline comes down with that interception.
Boy, he sure did. Here's another angle at it. Throwing it into double coverage there, but Sierra had an opportunity as the ball was resting on the shoulder of Bayline, but somehow Bayline held on to it as he came down. Boy, this young man making all the headline plays tonight.
Sometimes the coach will tell you that that's their best athlete, and this guy is the best athlete on the field tonight.
Here's a good look at Bayline now going from his cornerback to quarterback position.
And the interesting thing is he's only 5'10", 169 pounds, but he has been all over the field today.
Early in the fourth quarter. It's been all Penn so far as Becker has the football and some running room. Still on his feet. Brought down before he can get to the 30-yard line. Back downstairs with Ron Sexton.
Well, guys, remember Jim Belton's pregame speech to his players. 48 minutes to play in a lifetime to remember. Here's a senior, Adam Butt, number 67, trying to remind his teammates of that, going door to door. He doesn't want to fizzle here late in the fourth quarter, although it does seem very much dim, down 28-7. Let's go!
Well, we've seen stranger things happen, and a team come from 21 down to win the ball game, so anything is possible, but it just seems like it's been all Penn tonight. The Kingsmen have made the big plays when the opportunities have presented themselves, but credit Bud and the rest of the seniors. You don't want to give up. It's your last high school game. You want to be there providing all the leadership. Hardy carrying it near the 30.
Carmel gets a big break right here because Hardy slips and falls. He would have picked up the first down, I think, on that play. They had an opportunity to cut back. The hole was there, but here
the statistics after 3, and boy, how about that? Carmel, half the amount of yardage almost as the Penn Kingsmen. And Penn really doing it on the ground. And we talked so much about Carmel's ground game coming in tonight, but well, it's awful difficult too to continue to run the football when you're behind.
Penn has just come out and shut Polk down, and they really can't go to him because they're in an uphill battle.
Excellent punt from Seymour. Polk fields it at the 27. Turns the corner, has some room. Penalty flags are on the field as Polk is finally brought down before he can reach the 45. Get an indication as to what the penalty is all about. .9:03 to play in the fourth. Penalty. Well, they pointed the penalty would be against Penn, but they're marking it off against Carmel, so I'm guessing that they've actually pointed to the wrong direction. Right there you go. Let's check it out right here. I think you'll see it right there. 13 of Carmel. That's Samuel Morris. Blocked. John Doy in the back. The coach isn't happy about it, you can be sure. It backs Carmel up even further, and this is a time when field position is all the more important. From the 25, the Greyhounds begin their drive. Meek trying to turn the corner. Nice run as he carries it to the 33. Clock continues to run inside the 9-minute mark. Central Indiana Ford dealers want to salute Greencastle and Eastside Motors in Greencastle, Indiana. James Wood, the general manager. Thanks to all of our fine sponsors for their support of NDTV and the high school football game of the week throughout the season. And of course, encourage you to stay with us for the basketball season. We'll begin the first week in January with the high school basketball game of the week and take you right on through the state tournament. Shannon Polk looking to get outside, and Payline charges up from his secondary spot to make the play.
Boy, I tell you what, man, that was some great blocking on that play, but there was nowhere to run. Matt Woods and Scott Kaminsky on the counter play comes up, but Bayline does an excellent job of being able to contain, coming up, making the play. Coach Belden just probably is in a state of shock as to what is happening tonight.
Of course, the big question is being asked, who will replace Jim Belden once the season comes to an end? Keith Fielder, longtime assistant, maybe the man of choice as far as those within the program are concerned, but they will open it up for outside applicants as well. Fiedler, of course, he was here even when Dick Delahan was the coach at Carmel and has stayed on as a longtime assistant to Jim Belden. He can't like what he sees so far tonight. Penn's defense with the pursuit here makes it.
Watch Tristler right here. He has the first down right there, but it's thrown back by Ricky Siri, which allows his defense to come over. It's been that type of night for Carmel.
Carmel can't buy a break, and everything seems to be going the way of the Kingsmen. And there's a look at Tristler jogging out to his wide receiver slot. Terrific athlete, member of the cross-country team that won a state championship already this season. And Tristler, the intended receiver on that play, and Bayline almost picked it off. He would have gone the distance the other way if he could have held on.
We have called Bayline's name so much tonight. Here you're going to see Bayline does an excellent job of breaking on the ball. Trishler's right there waiting on it. It's a little bit late. Unfortunately for Carmel, Bayline is not able to intercept that pass.
It's been a long night for that young man. Josh Trishler came into the ball game with 34 receptions on the season. He scored 8 touchdowns. But not much has gone his way this evening. Penn taking over on downs following the 4th down incompletion. Bayline going to keep it himself. Brought down just as he crosses the 30, but wisely stays inbounds to keep the clock running. We haven't gotten a final on the Ben Davis game yet, but the Giants were leading Martinsville in the 4th. So it looks as though we'll see a Ben Davis and Penn rematch next weekend at the RCA Dome.
And that was probably the motivation. I'm sure Penn knew that if they got past this game, that they'd have another shot at the team that knocked them off of their winning streak.
Second down for Penn. Carmel's defense needing to make a big play. Hardy on the carry. Almost need to tackle the football at this stage if you're Carmel's defense.
Well, I'll tell you, Vincent, talking to both coaches, they were real intense during the week, but it seems like Penn coaches convey that motivation to his players. I mean, his guys have come out from the very opening drive and just pretty much done whatever they wanted to do.
Penn beginning to celebrate already, and 5 minutes and 45 seconds remain, but the lead likely insurmountable at this stage. First and 10 for the Kingsmen. Becker on the carry, looking for some running room. Becker hasn't found his way into the end zone yet tonight, but well, he's done so with much regularity during the season. 16 touchdowns on the year. Outstanding running back, and of course coming back from that ankle surgery after breaking the ankle in the regional championship last year. He's looked strong throughout the regular season and again tonight. Well, that's a tough injury to come back from if you're a running back.
That is one of the worst for a running back because they use their feet, their ankles and stuff to flag and push off.
Second and 8 from inside the 20. And Bayline wants to take a timeout. Of course, you'll see all 5 state championships right here on NDTV. High school football championship weekend begins Friday afternoon with the Class A championship game. Carroll, the defending state champion, seems to be on its way back to the Dome again this year. Frank Fagan Company leading big late in that game tonight. And then on Saturday, the 3A, 4A, and 5A games. You'll see them all here on NDTV. Well, it's going to be a busy, busy weekend. Bring the throat lozenges, Charles. You'll need them. That'll be one of those days you won't want to talk for about a week when you're finished.
Vince, I am just really surprised at the way Penn has handled Carmel tonight.
That makes 2 of us. I really thought coming in tonight that maybe that Carmel was a little bit of a favorite in this game this evening.
I think you're exactly right. And going down on the field before the game, the intensity was definitely there for both teams.
What a shootout at Martinsville. Ben Davis was leading big in that one, ends up winning by 20, but Martinsville put some points on the board late in the game. Hobart, what a great tradition the Brickies have, on its way back to the Dome. Lures escapes Jimtown. That has been a close one throughout. Hardy up the middle. Has some running room. Inside the 5. Ben Hoagland saved the touchdown. And there's Frank Fagan and Carroll Cougars 42-0 over Whiting. Congratulations to Coach Mark Haste and Tri-West. On its way to the Dome. A runner-up a year ago, I believe, and they'll have their chance to take home the big trophy this time. 4.5 minutes to play in the game. Penn threatening for more points here in the fourth, leading 28-7. Hardy get at the line of scrimmage. Nice defensive play. Good penetration. 79, B.J. Hammer. Well, now that's a football name there, Hammer. You know you better be able to hit if you've got that name.
If you have that name, you have to come with it.
Look, he's hitting so hard. He's hit somebody so hard, the R has come off of his jersey.
The Hammer.
Love it.
Like Fred Williamson. That's a great name, the Hammer.
Now, I'd be interested to see if there's a Penn player on either the sideline or on the field that has the R from Hammer's jersey stuck on his uniform.
If he does, he's going to take it home with him on that long bus ride. But it'll be a happy bus ride for the Penn Kingsmen.
No room to run. Sam Morris in there from his cornerback spot to make the tackle. But it's just a matter of time. Under 3.5 minutes, the clock is ticking, and Penn on top 28-7. Ron Sexton on the sideline.
The guy, Scott Becker, of course, was really big in the first half, but they told Chuck Hardy the second half would be his turn. You've seen the last 3 plays come his way. They really thought, after evaluating what they managed to see at halftime, there were holes for Hardy, but so far not too much running room on his chance right here.
But they're keeping the clock moving, and that's the objective at this point. I mean, when you're ahead 28-7, you want to make sure that you keep it between the lines.
They provide a perfect 1-2 combination. Scott Becker before this game, 826 yards. Hardy, 777. But there you see the other side to that. The Carmel Greyhounds have had a great season.
You saw Josh Trishler, who's a timeout on the field, as we had talked about. Penn keeping the clock rolling. They've called a timeout to talk about this third down situation. But we saw Josh Trishler there on the Carmel sidelines, and you know, it's quite an accomplishment just to play 2 sports in the same season. And Trishler did that. He was a member of the Carmel cross-country team that won the state championship here in the fall sports season. So Trishler is a young man that they said literally would run to practice in the early season, and well, those are his cross-country shoes he's got on tonight, but certainly a long face for Josh Trishler. What a contrast and emotion from the feeling of being a state champion just a short while ago in the cross-country field. Third down play for Penn. Bayline holds on to it instead of possibly throwing it away. Mike Wegner was there to get the official sack. That's the second time Wegner has gotten to Bayline tonight. Well, let's look back at a happier moment for Trishler. And boy, look at that muddy conditions that they had to run the cross-country meet in. Trishler finished second on his team as far as the outcome was concerned, 35th overall, and a member, of course, of the state championship Carmel Greyhounds. Certainly a happier time, but nothing to be ashamed of. There are a lot of other schools around the state that would love to have had the opportunity to play in the semi-state championship game. Of course, it's hard to understand that at this moment, but down the road, he'll remember.
Well, I mean, he's a state champion in one aspect, but you really want to come out do it again in football. I like what Carmel has done here. They did not allow Penn to score again. I think they were probably a little bit upset with the timeout that was called, but they showed some good resiliency here and done the best that they could at this point in the game.
They're talking to the Penn captains. I believe we might have a face mask called, and we'll see if it's going to go against Carmel, and if so, it could possibly set up a first down situation for the Kingsmen.
And Vince, we talked about this before. You get to this point in the season, some of these guys, you know, this will be their last football game, and they've been playing since Pop Warner, and that's a big adjustment, especially if you're a senior. You played 15 or 16 years of football, and you get to this point, this is a tough time.
Coach Giesman talking to his group before he sends in the play. The penalty was indeed against Carmel. So it will set up the Penn offense again. Again, it's 4th down for the Kingsmen. The ball spotted at the 9. It's 4th and goal. Penn on top 28-7. Inside of 2 minutes to play in the game. Bayline throwing it towards the end zone, and it's picked off. Sam Morris with the interception. Good break on the ball from Morris. Nice defensive play.
That was a great interception by Sam Morris.
So with 1:36 to play, the Greyhounds are going to get the football back. Although trailing by 21, it seems as though the Greyhounds would need a bit of a miracle to come back and make this one a challenge, but we'll see if Carmel can maybe pull a few tricks out of the hat here in the final 96 seconds.
Well, Vince, they say that it's not over till the fat lady sings, and she is warming up right now.
She's approaching the microphone. She's in the press box and is getting ready to take over the PA stand. Intercepted, Bayline. Only fitting that Nick Bayline would come in for the pick. What a great effort from Bayline tonight. How many times have we called out his name this evening?
Here you see Bayline once again in position to make the play. That's a corner route by the receiver, but he is all over it.
1:26 to play, and the celebration is about to begin. Bayline leaving the game to a standing ovation on the Penn sideline, and much deserved. Penn will just kneel on the ball, I'm guessing. No sense to even hand the football off at this stage. Jim Belden's distinguished coaching career will come to an end here tonight on his home field. It certainly didn't end the way he wanted it to, but you can't take anything away from the accomplishments of this man on the sideline.
He's definitely a legend, and you know he'll be remembered for a long time. He's done a great job. And on the other side, Coach Giesman goes on with a great effort from Bayline, who basically just put this team on his back tonight and said, we're going to the promised land.
The Penn Kingsmen will have their shot to get revenge on the one team that beat them this season. Ben Davis will await the Kingsmen at the RCA Dome next Saturday night. The Giants defeated Martinsville earlier this evening. And Penn is going back to the RCA Dome. The celebration is on. 28-7. Penn has beaten Carmel in the semi-state championship, earning a right to go to the RCA Dome and have a chance for a second straight Class 5A state championship. Ron Sexton with Coach Chris Giesman. Ron?
Thank you, Vince. Coach, you're going back to the Dome. What a scene. Yeah, we are. Can you describe the big league?
Well, it's we had a bad stumbling in week 7 down at Penn Davis. A lot of people predicted that would be our demise, but here we are. I mean, from Penn Davis North right now, we're the top football playing school, and you know, we got a chance to play them, but that ain't no prize.
Two keys really stand out in this one. Running the football and stopping the run. Talk about those two.
Well, that's what we felt like we had to do coming into the game. We felt like we couldn't be going 3 and out. We felt like we had to keep their defense off balance. They're a great football team. We're just happy with the win.
Dick Dolahan told you after the meeting with Ben Davis he hoped he would have a chance to play you again. It is indeed set for next week.
Well, I guess he would. He did want it. But, yeah, it is. It's exciting to be there.
We'll let you go. Quick thought on Coach Belden. I know you two have been very close. Talk about how it ended in this manner.
Jim's a great man and a great coach and a great friend of mine. And I'll tell you what, it's sad to say it's a sad day for Indiana football and for Carmel to see him leave.
Best of luck to you, though. Vince, Charles?
Well, Coach Chris Giesman and his longtime friend Jim Belden, a nice hug right there in the middle of the field. That's a great show of sportsmanship. Not just two coaches showing sportsmanship, but two men showing their friendship. And Coach Belden is with Ron.
Coach, he had a lot of great comments and words for you, Coach Giesman. How does it feel from your end? Obviously, you didn't want it to end this way.
Well, we've won a lot of great games, and we've lost a few, and it's tough. The dance had to end somehow, and it's been a great one. My kids played hard. It's a good football team. They played well tonight.
Surprised by the start they had, though.
They had a great start. We couldn't put it together. Sometimes maybe too much emotion, I don't know. But they're a well-schooled and well-coached team, and they deserve to win.
You've seen a lot of football games. How will they match up against Ben Davis for the rematch?
A lot of games. Well, there's two great coaches going in there. You'd have taken all four coaches this week, you'd have had almost 1,000 victories. So whatever team got in there was going to be two good teams.
You told your players 48 minutes to play in a lifetime. To remember it from your standpoint, though, how will you remember your great career here at Carmel when you have retirement to reflect?
Well, my career's been wonderful. I've been around good young people and good coaches and great administrations, and I have no regrets. I haven't worked a day in my life. Now I got to go find a job.
Well, you've always been a class act and a pleasure to work from our standpoint, too. Congratulations on a great career.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mr. Charles?
28-7. Penn over Carmel in the semi-state championship. You're watching The Road to the Dome on Indy TV.
For lots of people these days, home and office are one and the same. And Oak Express can save
For the Penn Kingsmen will return to the RCA Dome for a shot at a second straight 5A state championship. The Kingsmen over the Greyhounds tonight in this semi-state battle. Let's take a look at some of the other matchups that you'll look for next weekend at state finals, state championship weekend here on Indy TV. Tri-West and Carroll. Carroll is the defending Class A champion. They'll meet next Friday afternoon. The 2A matchup, Fort Wayne Lures against the winner of the North Posey North Montgomery game, which will be played tomorrow. In Class 3A, Fort Wayne Dwenger gets either Zionsville or Heritage Hills. That game likewise will be played tomorrow. Class 4A, Cathedral and Hobart. What a showdown that should be. Two outstanding football teams. And Class 5A action will pit the Ben Davis Giants in a rematch against the Penn Kingsmen. Ben Davis, the team that snapped Penn's 89-game regular season winning streak earlier in the season. Here are the game times for championship weekend on Friday. The 1A and 2A games beginning at 3:30. You'll see them both right here on Indy TV. And then on Saturday, 3A, 4A, and 5A championship battles. Saturday, November 30th. It all begins at noon right here on Indy TV. Well, that 5A battle will pit these very Penn Kingsmen up against Ben Davis and Charles. Penn quarterback Nick Bayline doubles as a two-way starter, as a defensive back, the star of the game tonight.
I can tell you, he doesn't have the size or the height or all that other stuff, but you can't measure his heart. He came out and played and got his team to where they need to be the next week.
Well, one of our sponsors is Milk here at IHSAA Sports Headquarters of Indy TV. It says Milk, the high-power fuel for the ultimate machine. Bayline must have drank a gallon of milk before he came out and played this one tonight. 140 total yards from Nick Bayline in this play, typical of his performance and the effort of the Kingsmen tonight. For Ron Sexton and Charles Arbuckle, all of us at Indy TV, I'm Vince Welch. Thanks for joining us on the Indy TV Game of the Week.